welcome to another Common Grounds Meet the Members. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jo Stevens and I'm the coordinator of Common Grounds. And apart from being the coordinator, I also have my own business, which is called Quirky Habits, which is all about self-awareness and understanding your identities and your emotional habits that get in the way of making us so fabulous. And then I'm also the co-host of Ladies Who Long Lunch, and I'm actually excited today because I'm going to have my fabulous co-host here with me as well, Kirsty Fields. But before we do that, Kirsty, can you please, hello, and can you introduce yourself to everybody and tell them about what you do, and then we're going to chat about Ladies Who Long Lunch.
Yeah, hi Jo. I'm excited to be here too. When I'm not co-hosting fabulous events with you, I am the creative director of Social Ocean, which is a bespoke marketing agency based on the Redcliffe Peninsula. Yeah, and I have a background in events marketing and social media marketing, and spend a lot of my days doing that. But we do all the traditional marketing stuff as well, and then spend I don't know. I haven't really figured out how much time I spend week to week, but I spend a lot of time thinking about Ladies Who Long Lunch events with you and talking about them and dreaming about them. Um, but yeah, spend a lot of time helping create wonderful events for professional women in that space too. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just love what we do. So can you kind of tell everybody about how this idea came about and how Ladies Who Long Lunch started?
Yeah, it's one of the, it's, you know, how when you're in business, you have these ideas that just don't ever go away. And Ladies Who Long Lunch was one of those. And it didn't start off with a name, but it was something that I wanted to do. I've been thinking about for quite a few years actually. And I kind of got to the point of building my confidence and frustration with the fact that this idea wouldn't go away. And I thought, right, I'm gonna do it. And I just happened to have a couple of friends who were local to Redcliffe where I am, and who wanted to do an International Women's Day event too. So we actually got that off the ground, but you wouldn't believe it, that was right before COVID, and things changed for my friends and I in that space, and we just couldn't kind of continue on the idea from there. But I had really been so impressed with the fact that it had happened, this idea had started, and I didn't want to let go of it. So I thought that I'd potentially be able to do a like short, sharp event series, one in a different location around Brisbane. And that's when I started that conversation with you and took that up idea. I took that idea up with you to say, hey, would you, like to help me with one of those events? Which very thankfully you said yes.
Yes.
And then the idea started to change and evolve. So from having your input in that discussion, it started to get bigger and better. But then we had another COVID issue, if you remember.
That's right.
We're right at that same time, and unfortunately, function staff and venues, they went home. We were at home sulking a little bit, I think, and then yeah, that discussion that you and I had of like, well, this is really something that's going to be good. We don't want to let it go. Let's look to launch with the actual events in the following year, and we'll kind of get our stuff sorted between now and then, and work on all the logistics behind the scene to get it up off the ground. So that was a few years with the idea, thinking I was getting started, a bit of a fail, trying to get restarted, another fail, and then success, from partnering up with you in this space. And yeah, and then a few months later we were up and running with an International Women's Day, which is
Absolutely. I mean, that's right. COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And I can remember as you mentioned, our first one was the International Women's Day event. And we were both like, okay, how are we going to go? And it was bigger and better than what we actually even thought it was going to be, which was so exciting. So that was like the beginning of our journey. And we're actually coming up to our third International Women's Day event. Can you believe that? It was so exciting. So like when we talked about before, like I do Common Grounds, and just for those of you that don't know, you run Ocean Network there in Clontarf in the Redcliffe in Peninsula area. But what is the difference though, like between say, the networking groups that we run to like Ladies Who Long Lunch? What's the difference with that?
I think the Ocean Network, Common Grounds, they're probably both fairly traditional networking. I know we've both got our own uniqueness to those groups. But generally, when you turn up to business networking event, you've got a certain set of expectations in mind. There's some general activities that everyone does, and we kind of follow a format, even when there's creative flair to a group, or how a speaker might present is differently, or even the order of the program might be different. But and I think, Ocean Network and Common Grounds have a lot of things in common in that space. But Ladies Who Long Lunch have a lot of those elements added into the day. But overall, the event is a far more social event. There's a lot more people. We're in bigger venues, and we really layer in the combination of what you expect from a lovely professional event with those networking components. But then we've kind of got this added layer of friendship and connection building. By nature, that kind of lends itself to what, circling back to a business networking group might do for you by allowing referrals and professional referral relationships to build. That happens as well, but that's not the primary cause or outcomes that we're looking for necessarily. We really want to inject that social sense of relaxation, fun, laughter, and I think that that's something that, as busy women and business women, we lack in our day-to-day. And I mean, those of us who are really lucky to be surrounded by big teams, they would have a real social nature built into their business day. But particularly solopreneurs and one-woman bands, they're really lacking that social side. And I go to some really fabulous business networking events and have great times there, but they're also a bit of a shorter program, and quite often they're really meeting the needs of my business more than how Ladies Who Long Lunch is meeting the needs of our individuals. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you touched on it a little bit there. So who is it are our target markets for Ladies Who Long Lunch? Who is it that we're attracting, and who is attracting to our Ladies Long Lunch events?
Well, I think initially we would have said that our target audience were ladies running their own business, but just by the fact of word of mouth and people talking about how much they enjoy our events, that's kind of broadened into more corporate groups who attend. So we've got a really nice mix now of groups of ladies who come on behalf of a company or an organization, in addition to those smaller sole traders, small to medium enterprises. I think it's really nice that we also have organisation representatives in there. So what I mean by that is charities or charitable. What's the word I'm trying to think of, Jo?
But also, we attract, the legal crews and other organisations as well, don't we? Accounting firms,
right.
and that's all the from those groups as well.
Yeah, and that's really come about, I think, from that the repetition of us and our International Women's Day events. By nature, those big companies and corporates will send their staff to a day like that, because that's the day of the year for their team to really recognise what they contribute to the business community globally. And I think that's contributed to that. But even ongoing outside of the International Women's Day event, those corporate groups are still coming along.
Which is fantastic, isn't it?
And I think that they're actually, I wouldn't say it's a movement. I wouldn't call it a movement, not just yet, but the idea of sending your team to events that have that real social side to it is something that bigger corporations are starting to understand for their staff well-being. And also, now that we're as individuals who are employed looking to have more flexibility in our workspace, those things are a bit more front of mind for larger organizations. That's a win-win for Ladies Who Long Lunch attendees and our guests, because that means they're mixing with a broader audience of professionals as well. So it's a win-win for everyone who's attending. But yeah, who our target was originally and how that's evolved has been a really great journey for us.
And one of the key factors, and like you've touched on that, is about the, mental well-being that we have. And the goal is from the start was at midday is when you turn off your emails coming in and things like that. So that's the key factor too, ladies who long lunch. Yes, it's about networking and connecting, but it's also about having that time out for yourself. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that women don't do well is turn off. Like when we go home, whether we're employed or we're running our own business, when we leave the office, our brain is still working. We've still got other things to do. We've got other plans in place. And even though we might transition from perhaps our corporate or business space into home space, we're never having downtime. We're never turning off.
Yeah.
So if you think about, typically our weekend starts, Friday, 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, we would like to encourage all the ladies to start just a few hours earlier. And there's a few things that go with that, because if you think about, if you've got kids at home, if your husband's waiting for you, or even if you work at home and the kids are coming home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, for example, there's a few things that you've got to organize, when you get our save the date days, to make sure that those home things are being taken care of so that you can actually focus on yourself. So there's more than just, we want you to quit work 5 hours earlier, once every couple of months. It's also, let's get all those ducks lined up, for those other things that keep us turned on and keep us still working to some extent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that encouragement and regular conversation around that, of like, hey, let's get the kids sorted, get hubby or the kids' dads or grandparents or aunties and uncles involved, even, hey, the neighbor. I was a single mum for a long time, when my daughter was younger, and my neighbors were great helps. Our personal community can be brought in to help us as an individual if we
100%.
yeah.
We have to remember, ladies, in order to take care of others, we have to take care of ourselves first. And that is what our day is all about, having that time to connect with others, but also to connect with yourself and have that time out. Now, we talked a little bit, like, we were saying every couple of months that we have, our events that we have on. So we do them all around Southeast Queensland. And last year we even went regional. So where usually are our locations? Because we've had some fabulous locations that we have gone to.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably one of the things that you and I enjoy the most is seeking out fabulous venues to take our ladies to. But yeah, so we're always on the hunt for venues around Moreton Bay and Brisbane CBD particularly. Since 2023, we've had some inquiries about our interest or possibility of taking events broader. So we've got interest in the Sunshine Coast, we've got interest in the Gold Coast, we've got interest in Logan and Ipswich councils as well, which is really fabulous. And, I think you would agree that we're open to going anywhere. But yeah, that regional event last year has really opened the doors to our ideas around, entering into other territory like Central Queensland, for example. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, and that's from last year, what we loved about doing that when we went to Toowoomba was the fact that there was people there that thought they knew each other, but nearly knew most of the people going to all these different network groups. But there was so many different women that came along that were attracted to our event, that they were like, they were like, wow, we've met even more people, which is great. And we love that people are really interested in our events and coming along. And we always have such a great time, and generally it continues on having a great time, which is what we always have. And we've got some exciting stuff that's happening at the International Women's Day event that we're going to be launching. Do you want to tell people a little bit about the lunch mag?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is one of those things, I guess, that we've been working on to kind of strengthen out the community that we're building now. And well, just before the lunch mag, actually, we've got our business directory. So as a bit of an extension from that and adding more benefits into, being one of the ladies in our community is the lunch mag. So at our International Women's Day event this year, we'll be launching that, and it will be an event specific publication. So at each of our events, we will have the Lunch magazine, and every one of our guests will get that as part of their ticket. We have partnered with our wonderful friends at Quick Copy Eagle Farm to bring that magazine to print and to life. Literally, we'll be able to hold that magazine and take that home and read some of the great articles that will be in print in the magazine. So yes, so the people who will be featured in our magazines will be event sponsors. So we're launching our sponsorship program as well, which is all kind of contributing into this Lunch Mag project. So right now, opportunities exist for Limelight Directory members, which is our premium business directory ladies. So if you are a Limelight Directory person, there's in-print opportunities for you to write articles to be featured in the Lunch Mag. So I think that's probably one of the most exciting things for us, isn't it? Like seeing our new friends that we've made over the last couple of years about to be featured. That's cool. And of course, that attraction model, I suppose, of sponsorship as well. I mean, we've just discussed around it's a lot of work for two people to kind of create and run what we're doing. And so that sponsorship support will go a long way to help with streamlining and speeding up some of those things for us. And, you and I, we're pretty funny, Jo. Like, so I
know I'm funny.
we know you're funny. I think I'm funny too. And
no, you are.
and
And we have a lot of fun. And that is the one thing that I always love, the feedback that we get from our events is that we have that mixture of a networking event where it's fun but educational, and everybody loves that about the Ladies Who Long Lunch events. It's always expect the unexpected. They never know what's going to happen on the day. And I love that we bring that aspect to it. And, we've built some, and you were touching on that, we have built some amazing friendships through Ladies Who Long Lunch, and even like the people that attend, we had some regulars that come along all the time who actually are connected through Ladies Who Long Lunch, and that is their way of catching up, which is what we love. And we always have an amazing empowerment panel every time as well at our events, and that's about learning, isn't it? Do you want to talk a little bit about that we have for our empowerment?
Well, I was just going to say before we get on to something else, is that really that the magazine is a culmination of all of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, me talking about us being funny, there's elements of that in that magazine. There will be elements of the unexpected in that magazine because that's what you and I bring to the mix. So the Lunch Mag is, looking forward to launching that officially at the next event. But yeah, I think one of the things that our guests actually talk about and are grateful for is to be mixing with unique and inspiring women that we feature on the empowerment panel. I think that's a large part of our event, in fact, makes up a large chunk of the day. And I think that we do really well to find ladies to share their stories around their life and careers with us. And I think that it's those ladies who really hit home and really share some heartwarming stories, a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation. But they actually make us feel like those of us in the room listening as though we aren't alone. And I think that's the importance of, building community together. Yeah.
100%. And that's what I love about Ladies Who Long Lunch. Great conversations, great food, always that's part of our thing as well. And I got, great wine and soft drinks if you like. I love a good Moscato, and we always have lots and lots of fun. So yeah, please come along and see our events. We'd love to hear from you if you want to know more. Follow us at Ladies Who Long Lunch. Do you think, I think we've covered nearly everything of our conversation. Is there anything else you want to end with, Kirsty, that you want to chat about?
I guess it would just be to, let everyone know who's listening that they aren't alone. And if they're seeking a community or a new friendship base for their business or their company and they haven't, yet found it, to come along to an event. We're running them in all different locations. There's likely to be one near you soon. And if you are interested, we've always got a special going with early bird tickets, with the next event if you haven't made it to, the immediate one coming. So check us out on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn as well, and see when you can come along and join us.
Absolutely. And actually, I just have to add one more thing. Yes, if you're on your own, do not think that you can't come to Ladies Who Long Lunch. That is, we always see you with somebody that we know, so that you can feel welcomed. And that is always our goal, is to make everyone feel welcome. You don't have to come in a group. Everyone is welcome.
Yep. And we'd love to see you soon.
We do. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kirsty. I really enjoyed it, and I hope everybody's learned a little bit more about Ladies Who Long Lunch. I really enjoyed that chat. And so, yeah, thank you, everybody, and have a great day. See you, Kirsty.
Thanks, Jo.